I remember when I had my first beer.
Probably 1889.
Fair. How we doing, Broken Arrow? Yeah! Man, it's good to see y'all again. It's been a while since I've been up here. Who's been up here when you've seen me before? No new jokes. No new jokes. I am going to start off with my favorite because it is my favorite. I retired 2 years ago from the Navy. I was in there for 21 years. It's fine. Everybody else gives me a standing ovation. You guys should stay. See, we're done. Anyone can do it. Any veterans in the crowd besides Preston? Yeah, thank you. Oh, not you. Stolen valor in the back from Chrissy. It's a shame. It's 2024, y'all. No, I retired. I got tired of grooming standards, and not the way everyone else was. We're like, it's changing. I was mad it wasn't changing enough. I wanted to grow my beard. When I would take leave, I would grow a beard. My wife would say, "You look so good with a beard." I'd say, "Thank you." Right? I retired. I grew this beard. You know what the first thing she said to me was? "I want you to shave it." I said, "Why? It brings me so much joy. Why would you want me to shave it?" She goes, "I hate having to move the hair out of the way to get to your lips when I want to kiss you." And I said, "Finally, something we can both agree on." Yeah. I'll let that sit there for a second. I'm a middle school teacher and I shaved my beard. They were more disgusted than my wife. I had a kid show up and he said, "Mr. Martino, is your chin tired?" I said, "Why?" They said, "Well, your beard was definitely doing some heavy lifting." Hey, I got bullied the first time I was here. I don't need it the second time around. I was in the gym helping a kid with basketball and I hit like a 3/4 court shot. It was incredible. I just pulled up and my old basketball coach still works there and he walked in, he goes, "Oh my gosh, where was that in middle school?" I said, "At the end of the bench." I didn't hit another shot all day. It was terrible. My wife's here tonight, the professor. She supported me throughout my career. I give it up for her. Made it possible for me to retire. Now works at Oklahoma State. Go Pokes. Yeah, I was an OU fan until Oklahoma State started paying the bills. Yeah. Now I'm loyal and true, baby. Let's go. No, she's the smartest person I know. I finished 44th out of 47 kids at my high school. In case you were wondering what the bar was for educator in Oklahoma, it is vertical and a pulse. That's it. My wife is super smart. She's the smartest. She will use words to win arguments that I don't understand. That's not fair. I'll be saying something and she'll say, "Case, why don't you quit being so obstinate?" I'm like, "I don't even know what that means." She goes, "Why don't you Google it?" I said, "I'm way too stubborn for that." I don't have time to hand you a thesaurus. It means I'm too stubborn, right? But what I do know from a lifetime with these people is I have stupid friends. And so I'll use those words to win arguments with them, and then I look smart. So I was on the phone with my buddy the other day, and I said, "Joe, why don't you quit being so obstinate?" He goes, "I don't want to be, but my wife won't have sex with me." "Joe, I'm pretty sure that's abstinent." He goes, "Well, whatever it is, it's wearing me out." I received my first ever unsolicited dick pic the other day. Not that I received one that I've solicited. I don't want to. Let's start there. I've never asked for one and got one. Nor have I. Hang on. Okay. So I've also never asked for one at all. It's not like people have been turning me down. I woke up in the morning, I assumed like every lady, and checked my phone, and there was a penis on my screen. I didn't know what to do. I was like, why? It was in a group chat. One of my friends sent it to me, and it wasn't even his. One of our mutual friends got hacked. The question was, is this Greg? And I looked and I thought, well, I couldn't identify him from here anyway. So then my wife hears me on the phone talking to these people going, why does it look like a soft serve ice cream machine? Like, what's happening down here? And she goes, how many penises have you seen? I told you I was in the Navy. Miles! Counties of penises. They're everywhere. If you've been in the military, you've seen them. You gotta do your analysis. They're there. They're everywhere. You go to boot camp with 100 other people and you gotta take showers. That's it. You're gonna see them. We used to have a guy that would go into the shower first, and he was the last one to leave, and he would lather his body with 3 inches of soap. And the last part he would soap was 20% of his body. It was wild. I was like, what is this? Good for him. Right? Not Greg in the picture. That was terrible. I never want that to happen to you. Ladies, I'm sorry if that's ever happened to you. I've got to talk to my therapist. It's too much. We've just crossed the 2nd year anniversary of the highest profile case of elder abuse in the United States. Is anybody tracking this? Just me? Anybody? No, it's also the reason that Johnny Depp deserves an Emmy. You guys didn't watch that court case play out? That poor guy, right? It was terrible. I learned a lot from him, though. People like, you don't get an Emmy for a court case. I said, look how many people watch this thing, right? I learned so much from him, right? I learned how to use different accents on every day. I learned how to just smile to try to lie. I learned that the amount of drink or amount of wine my wife drinks is a mega pint. Who knew? It was a defamation case. He's like, I don't want her running me down. They're like, do you do boatloads of cocaine? He's like, yeah, but don't talk bad about me. And they're like, do you fall asleep in a drug and alcohol coma and you wake up and your ice cream's melting? He's like, sure, and I probably soiled myself, but don't soil my name, sir. This is a court case. It was terrible. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it, y'all. Anybody ever done a 23andMe? Just me? I'm the only one sending my spit to the government after all these years? They have it all, y'all. There's nothing they don't have for me. I did it. I wanted to know. Right? Latino or Sicilian. Right? It comes back. Anybody? Who? I saw one hand. Did you find anything else about yourself that you didn't know?
Not really.
Nothing? You're like, I was white?
Yes.
And now I'm white? Yeah, I thought I was Italian. I'm Peruvian. My whole life has been a lie. My grandfather, we have pictures of him getting off of the boat from Sicily. It's a lie. I said, what, Mom? You said my hairy arms and my Eugene Levy eyebrows were because I'm Italian. And she goes, well, it also said that you're part Neanderthal. Maybe that's where it comes from. That's not helping. I asked my sister, I said, what do we do? We have to have a whole new identity. I can't do this. That's a hate crime now. I don't know what to do. She goes, look up what Peruvians do. I said, I won't do it. Too obstinate. I said, here's what Peruvians like. Cheeseburgers, video games, and masturbation. That's it, nothing else. That's all we do with our time. I did a 23andMe on my daughter, because why not? And that was crazy. My wife is Irish, right? And her 23andMe came back, she's Irish. She eats potatoes. When they're around, there's a famine. Listen, so she does the 23andMe, comes back Irish. My daughter does a 23andMe, half Irish. What's the other half? Peruvian. Amazon delivery driver. I don't even know how it happened. But they deliver on Sundays. So I think we have a clue. Father's Day just came and passed. Anybody have a terrible father? Yeah, just me? Oh, a couple of us? Yeah, welcome to the club. Right? It's terrible. My dad was a welder and a pipeliner, and he always had this great vision for the things he would do, and that was one of the things he hated most about me. Right? Was like we would start a job and I could never see the finished product first, and so you'd get mad. He's like, it wasn't just the screwdrivers, it was just I existed, and so he hated it, right? And one year he decided, my mom went to get him on Christmas Eve. He was drunk in a bar. She said, we gotta bring you home. So on the way home, and this is not a joke, this is a true story, he stops at our local Walmart, completely drunk. I don't mean kind of drunk. This man was a super alcoholic, like a superhero that was just an alcoholic. Walks into Walmart, buys me a gun because his son's turning 14. They sold him a gun. Who needs gun control? Sell the drunk man a gun. What's the worst that could happen? We go out the next day. I was so excited. My dad bought me a gun. It's a man gift. Good for him. We go out shooting, right? Skeet shooting. It's not sexual abuse. Skeet. You guys know. It's okay. Clay pigeons. I am not this massive human being you see in front of you today. Joke. I was scrawny as a kid. Terribly scrawny. They handed me the thrower. I don't know what you call it. I'm not much of a man. And I put the clay pigeon in it. And he's standing in front of me. I'm sitting back on the truck with my gun. He's standing up here with his. And he says, pull. Ma'am, it is not that funny yet. I put everything I have into this throw. Just, yeah! And I looked, and it was still there. It didn't leave. I didn't know that was a possibility. And he looks back. He goes, I said, pull. Again, I run at it. I throw it as hard as I can. Nothing. It's still there. He looks back. He's mad and hungover, probably. He says, I said, pull, goddammit. Oh no, right? So I throw it as hard as I can. I mean, just, yeah! He is 6 feet in front of me. I throw this thing as hard as I can, and it releases directly into his back. And his gun's up, and he falls to the ground, pointed up, and holds his back. We didn't talk about this for years. As an adult, I heard him having the conversation one day. I was at his house, and he started telling the story about the gun. He's telling it the exact way it happened. I said, pull, right? And he cussed at me. It made me feel bad. In case he's sitting behind me with the shotgun. I said, yeah, he is. I could have sworn that he had shot me in the back. And I was like, he's right. I never see the end product. That would have solved most of my problems. Why didn't I think of that? So I'm a dad now. I'm a girl dad. I don't mean like a girl who's a dad. I'm a man who's a dad of a girl. We're tracking now? We're good? All right. It's always confusing. And I love her to death. She's 14 now, I think. And there you go, one person. She's 14. I know she's 14. Everyone says she looks at me, or looks like me. I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure her mom's the real mom. No, we've had some pretty neat experiences together. I was retiring from the Navy, and I came home, and I was taking her to softball practice, and this was about the time she was becoming a lady, right? You know. And she wakes up that morning and she goes, Dad, I can't go to practice. I've got cramps. And I said, hey, your grandma and your aunt told me that working out cures that. Ladies, I don't know if that's true, but it convinced her and she went. Right? She got done with practice. She had great practice. It was incredible. And she sits down in the truck. I said, hey kid, great practice. Good job. And she goes, Dad, I was having period pains. I said, well, at least they weren't exclamation mark pains. That's a Goldie right there. She was in no mood for my dad jokes. She goes, Dad, I'm bleeding. What do you expect me to do? I said, talk to your mother. That's what I expect you to do. This is too much for me. I had a sister growing up who had terrible times of the month. Right, and they had to put her on medication to stop it. She'd have terrible mood swings. We would get into fist fights, and I told you I was a scrawny kid. She would beat me up. She'd get on top of me and punch me. I'd be bleeding more than she was. They'd have to take me to the hospital. It was terrible, right? And they got her on medication. She's 3 years older than me, and to this day, she's one of my best friends. And the mood swings have completely stopped. Completely. Now, she's just always a cunt. Just always. And so you know what you're getting. So my daughter says, what would you do if I cut you on the arm right now and you started bleeding? So what would I do? She goes, yeah, I'll tell you what I would do. I'm field medical qualified. I would tie a tourniquet, apply direct pressure, and go to the doctor. That's what I would do. What I wouldn't do is let it bleed for a week. Pretend everything's okay for the next 3 weeks, and let it happen again, and blame my dad for the whole thing. So she convinced me to start substituting at her school, which was kind of sweet. She wanted to spend some more time with me. And yeah, and it was nice. It was nice at first. And I told you, vertical and a pulse, that's it for being a teacher. There's one more. The one more is, and they ask you on the interview, they're like, do you touch kids? I'm like, no, absolutely not. It's not my thing. And they're like, we need to send you to training. I'm like, great, for what? They're like, how to touch kids. You're sending real mixed messages here, Oklahoma. I'm down. Well, what it was they wanted me to be part of this team that stops fights. And I was very good at it. I like to stop fights. I don't like fights, I don't like bullies. And there was one week in particular that we stopped 3 fights. One fight, yeah, 3 for 3. One fight was between these 2 girls, and my daughter saw it. And this girl grabbed a hold of this other girl and took her to the ground, right? Straight to the ground. And I got in the car with my daughter, and I was kind of exhausted from the week, right? I sit down in the truck, and she's right there, and I said, hey, thank you so much for not being a fighter, right? High five. And she goes, it's no problem, Dad, but I would. I said, what? She goes, someone hit me. I said, no, you'd be like your dad, right? If someone hit you, you'd probably cry and hide in a corner and wait for somebody to come help you. And she goes, no, if somebody hit me, I would go down on them. No, you wouldn't. She said, what do you mean? I said, first off, nothing says you're not a fighter like not knowing the terminology. Secondly, that would stop a fight immediately. She goes, what do you mean? I said, oh my God. So now I'm having the birds and the bees talk with my daughter on the way home. And she goes, Dad, please stop. It's so embarrassing. I said, you're embarrassed? Imagine being this kid. She goes, what kid? I said, the make-believe kid that you went down on. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, little Timmy's got to go home. And his parents were like, hey, how was school today, little Timmy? Well, I got in a fight. Did you win? Yeah. Twice. What do you mean? Well, I hit her. And then she started sucking my dick. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have to fight her again tomorrow. I might have to marry her. Yo, this is how kinks are formed. Y'all, thank you so much for your time. You've been absolutely excellent.